Hey everyone, and welcome to How to Survive Ember Shores 2025. I'm your host Lillian, and I am so excited for Ember Shores to be back this year. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome all the new residents of Ember Shores. For those who have been a part of this series, welcome back and thank you so much for all your support for the past couple of years that I've been doing this series. If you aren't already a part of the Illenium Ember Shores 2021, 2022, and 2023 Facebook group, I highly recommend you go join that group if you're on Facebook. I post all of my videos that I make for this series on that Facebook group, TikTok, and YouTube, as well as uploading them to my Google Drive that you can find in the link down below or on the Facebook group, and just search Google Drive and it'll pop up for you. If you're on that Facebook group, you'll already know that I posted an FAQ segment on that group, but today I'd like to just do a deeper dive on what I posted in that segment. The first thing is that the Ember Shores website is currently on a countdown clock. So the projected date of Ember Shores 2025 is December 5th through the 7th. That is Friday through Sunday. Now your hotel accommodations will last you until Monday morning. However, I'll talk about all of that in a different video. My first tip for you if you're going to Ember Shores is to make your time off request right now, if you can at least. I know that some jobs probably won't allow you to request that time off so early in advance. However, if you can request that time off now, that would be the best. If not, just go ahead and request it when you can. I have already requested those days off. However, I'm waiting for a confirmation that those days have been approved for my vacation time. Even if you're on the fence about going, I would still recommend that you put in a request for your time off, and even if you don't end up going, you can always back out of those dates. When you're putting in your time request, make sure you think about also adding in any days before or after the festival to help you prepare for the festival or help you decompress afterwards. Now, in the past, Ember Shores has allowed you to directly book extra days through their website for up to 3 to 4 extra days. I'm not 100% sure on these days, but I think it was 4 days, maybe 5, not really sure. I'll do another episode on the pros and cons of booking directly through Ember Shores versus the resort because for the past 3 years that I've gone to Ember Shores, I've seen a lot of debate on which is better. There are definitely some pros and cons, so I'll make a whole other video for that. When I booked my extra day for Ember Shores 2023 in Cancun at the Paradisus, my room for myself was about $300. I had 3 people in the room, and so we were at just under $300 per person. If you have less people in the room, it may be a little bit more, but that's just to give you a ballpark idea on how much it costs per person for the extra days in your resort rooms. The next tip that I have for you is if you don't have a passport, apply for a passport right now. Like, do it right now. After this video you watch it, go watch my other video that's already posted on my Google Drive. It's pinned in my TikTok. It's also on the Facebook group, and I'll go ahead and post it on YouTube as well. Due to the quickly changing and unpredictable US government right now, I highly recommend that you apply for your passport even if you're on the fence about going to Ember Shores, because it may take longer than normal. I thankfully don't have to get my passport this year, but if you do, I would definitely get one now, because if you wait till the last minute, there are ways for you to get those passports last minute. However, it's going to be really stressful and you might not even be able to get one. So don't risk your chance on going to Ember Shores because you don't have a passport. There's been a lot of speculation and rumors about where exactly Ember Shores is going to be this year. The main rumor is that Ember Shores will not be at the Paradisus and the Fiesta Americana in Cancun, and will instead be in the Dominican Republic, in Punta Cana, and potentially being at the Hard Rock Resort. None of this is hard 100% facts, so take this with a grain of salt. Don't say, oh, but Lillian said it was going to be in the Dominican Republic. No, 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 no. These are all just my best educated guesses, and by other research that I've done, this is what I can tell you, okay? So Festication is one of the festival producers for Ember Shores, and they announced that they would be doing another festival in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic at the Hard Rock Resort for Tool. Now, these rumors are just rumors, okay? So I just want you to remember that. If Ember Shores follows suit with Tool Live in the Sand, the resorts that they would be using would potentially be the Hard Rock Resort, the Royalton Bavaro, and Royalton Splash. Now, these are all rumors at this point, so let's just all be prepared for anything that they might throw at us. For all we know, it could still be in Cancun and just be at a different resort. Still unclear where Ember Shores is exactly going to be this year, and we won't know until they release more details. So with my best educated guess, because Festication is putting on Tool Live in the Sand as well as Ember Shores, my best educated guess is that they will not release more details until after Tool Live in the Sand is finished. So we're looking about maybe mid-March for more details. If you want, you can go ahead and take a peek at Tool's festival website to do your own research on what the festival pricing and experience might be like if Ember Shores moves to Punta Cana. Now, if you don't want to go do that research for yourself, I'm going to give you the TLDR, okay? If you look at Tool's festival packaging prices, they are unfortunately double the price of what we are used to when we had Ember Shores in Cancun. Now, my first thought process on why the festival might have these higher packaging prices is because the resort fee might be higher in the Dominican Republic. My second thought process is that maybe the artists and bands that are booked for Tool, they might have a higher booking rate than what the artists for Ember Shores may be asking for. So keep that in mind and don't be super put off by the pricing right now. These are all just speculations comparing to the other festival that Festication is putting on. So long story short, Ember Shores package prices may remain the same as what we are used to in Cancun, or they might be going up because it's at a new resort with new features and amenities. When I was looking at the Tool Festival website, I also noticed that most of the rooms were only allowing up to 3 people per room. Now, this is a different thing that we are used to when we were at Ember Shores in Cancun. We were able to book up to 4 people in that room. Now, this obviously might change. It might stay the same. There are some 4 people rooms that are available. However, those options are more limited. And from what I've seen, there aren't any 6-person rooms like what we had at the Paradises in Cancun. Now, all of this is speculation, so this all might change if Ember Shores does end up in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So until that time comes, we're just gonna have to be patient. In any case, whether it's in Punta Cana or Cancun or somewhere else in the world, it's probably not a bad idea for you to budget a little higher than what you would have budgeted for if we were going to Ember Shores in Cancun. In the past, Cancun has costed me about $2,500, give or take, but this year, because there's speculation that Ember Shores is going to end up in the Dominican Republic, I'm going to be budgeting for about $3,000 to $4,000. I'm budgeting for a 3 or a 4-person room. If you're budgeting for a 2-person room, I would highly recommend you adding on an extra $1,000 per person for your budgeting. The highest total price for a 3-person room for the Tool Festival currently is $7,775, or about $3,092 per person. Now, the lowest price for a 4-person room is $5,175, or about $2,144 per person. Do remember that this is an all-inclusive festival, so all of your weekend hotel accommodations, your food, your drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, as well as your festival access for the weekend is included in this total package price. The only thing that you'll have to budget for outside of that are flights, merch, tips, any excursions or extra days. I will do a more detailed video about this topic in the future, and if you want to go look at my other episodes from previous years, I do also have a full detailed video already out. So besides the festival package, you're just going to have to budget for tips, extra days, possible excursions if you and your group want to do that, any merch and souvenirs that you might be buying, and your flight to Ember Shores. If the festival does indeed move to Punta Cana, my flight is going to be a little bit more expensive than when I flew into Cancun. When I flew into Cancun, my direct flight was about $600 versus flying into Punta Cana will be just under $1,000. So just be aware that your flights might be a little bit different in pricing depending on where you live. I will say that I personally will never fly with a layover again to Ember Shores, specifically because of my experience year one. That's a whole other story. It's way too long for this video, but I will make another video if you guys are interested in hearing about that experience. Flights fluctuate throughout the year, and depending on when you book them, you may get a cheaper or a more expensive flight. Of course, if you wait longer to get your flights, your prices for your flights are going to go up. And if you book a little bit earlier in that nice sweet spot, they're probably going to get the best value for your flights. I personally won't be booking my flights until about May or June because I know that flights prices are going to be fluctuating from now until then. So I don't want to book anything too soon, especially because we don't have more confirmation dates on where the festival exactly is going to be this year. In the past, I have personally budgeted about $200 to $300 for all of my tips, merch, and souvenirs that I might buy at Ember Shores. Now, this is definitely a personal choice, and depending on what your budget is, you may be able to budget more or less. Just make sure that you are including the whole picture of what you might spend extra at Ember Shores. I'm not much of a drinker, so most of my tips were for when I went to eat at the restaurants or the buffet, or even just anybody who helped me out. I did get some non-alcoholic drinks as well as some alcoholic drinks, so of course I tipped during those times as well. My first year of Ember Shores, my group and I decided that we wanted to do an excursion, and that cost each person about $200. You can book these excursions directly through Ember Shores, or you can go to a third-party source. However, no matter what, you want to make sure that you're including that excursion price in your budget. Any of these excursions probably range from anywhere between $100 to $200, maybe $250, depending on the type of excursion that you're going on. I highly recommend that if you are going to go on an excursion, to book it for either before or after Ember Shores. And this is specifically because when I experienced year one, my group and I decided to go on an excursion. We went on day 2 early in the morning, and we didn't get back till almost about 5 o'clock in the evening. We actually cut our trip short because we weren't going to be getting back to even later, and the entire bus was just kind of tired, and we all wanted to go back so that we could enjoy the full festival. I will say from my experience in both year 2 and 3 of Ember Shores, we did not do an excursion for these years solely because we wanted to spend as much time at the festival because there is so much to explore on property, and no matter where we end up this year, I know that there's going to just be so much to explore, so I wouldn't want to add on an excursion for during the day of the festivals. Everything that I went through this video are just a few of the basic facts that you need to know on how to survive Ember Shores 2025. Thank you all for staying and watching this entire video. I can't wait for Ember Shores to release more information about this year. So until then, I will see you all next time. Bye everyone!